Coach Mike McConaughey of the Demon basketball team, whose team does get to play at home this week against Nichols in Southeastern, a place where the Demons are unbeaten this year. What's the state of Demon basketball at 4-1 in the conference, 10-5 overall, second in the nation in scoring? That all sounds pretty good. Are we where we need to be heading into these two games at home on Thursday and Saturday?
I think we're in a very good place. We've got so much more work to do. I mean, that sounds kind of strange, but we're not. We have, when you play as many people as we play, you're not going to peak till later on, and naturally we don't want to peak until March when we're trying to play in a conference tournament. But at the same time, there's some things that we'd like to do a lot better, and we're not rebounding the ball very well at all. Taking care of the ball pretty good. We did have 15 turnovers against Central Arkansas, some of them late in the game, but some of them also were happy plays maybe. Guys got a little bit too carried away and trying to make plays that they really couldn't because we were running and feeling free and just made some plays that just weren't very smart. And against a talented Central Arkansas team, it almost put us in a bad situation.
One thing your team certainly did well last week, shoot free throws in the last two games, 40 out of 47, I believe. Just outstanding accuracy at the free throw line.
Actually, it was 40 out of 49. I wish I could say 40 out of 47, but I remember you wrote it down, and I remember it said 49.
It was awful good. So
we'll take over 80% any day of the week, and you can overcome a lot of misgivings when you make free throws like that.
All right. Does that? What does good free throw shooting do for the rest of the game? I mean, is it a? It's got to be a confidence booster for your team in many aspects.
Well, I think free throws put you in a position to where early in the year we have 11-point lead against Campbell on the road, and we miss free throws, and it ends up being a 3-point game at the end. If we make those free throws, we stretch it out to 15, 16 points. You know, maybe they don't get as close as they did. So it's just important. I think that missing free throws is kind of a bummer. It's like, oh no, we got to do this, got to do that, and you got to make all those extra plays when you don't make free throws. And those extra plays are the plays that are going to make you be a championship team. And that's one of my concerns about our team is we're giving up too many easy buckets, whether it's a guy missing a block out assignment and them coming over off the back, not necessarily over our back, but pretty much over our back, and putting the ball back in, or those kind of plays, or not being in a position defensively to being helped to stop a guy when he beats somebody off the dribble. Those kind of things we've got to get a lot better at.
All right, and this is just when I was about to say, despite being the nation's #2 scoring team, defensively, you've been pretty good and also rank in some categories defensively. While you just said there are some things you need to clean up defensively, your team's been better defensively this year than in past years.
Well, when I say this, by no means does this take away from one of the finest young men and one of the best players I've ever been associated with, William Mosley. But when you don't have William Mosley back there, those guys know he's not back there. Therefore, you can't get by him to block shot. You know, you can't let somebody get by you and just block a shot. So with that in mind, I think that's helped us a lot. James Holman has stepped up and become a guy that's blocked a few shots, and Marvin Frazier and O.J. Daquan Hicks has blocked a few. We're still blocking a lot of shots, but it's just a different situation because it's more of a team defense instead of just wheels in the back.
All right, let's talk specifically about the two games this week. First, Thursday evening in Prather Coliseum against Nichols, a team that has always been a thorn on the Demons' side and is a tough matchup because of the system they play.
Well, J.P. Piper does a phenomenal job. He stays within his system. He's found a system that's been very good for him and very good for Nichols, and it's just contrary to what we play. We like to get the ball up and down the floor, so it'll be important for us to control the boards, to be able to get the ball up and down the floor, try to create some tempo to get them out of their slower pace. Now, at times this year, they have played a little bit faster. So we'll have to do a better job in transition because I think they're looking to take transition buckets when they can. They've got a young man, T.J. Carpenter, from up in Jermaine Wallace's old stomping grounds, and then also a young man from Manny, Louisiana, Thomas. So they're young men that are local, and so that will provide them with a little boost in the arm to come in here and have a great job. We did not recruit TJ. That was not because he wasn't a good player. It was just because of need base at the time. And but that's always a tough deal when you've got a kid coming in your place that's pretty close. That I'm not saying that we could have gotten involved with, but at the same time, we're closer than Nichols, and so he's a very, very good player. We just didn't have, he didn't fit the need that we had.
And they've got one of the better players in the conference.
Fred Hunter's a phenomenal player. You know, big, strong, can really shoot the ball. They don't have a lot of depth at the 5 spot, but he is a very, very good player. Was freshman of the year and has done a great job. Redshirted a year ago, coming off a knee injury, and just a solid, solid player.
Then Saturday it's Southeastern, and the Lions coming to town.
No doubt about it. Coach Yarborough does a great job, and his staff, and they like to play a slower paced game as well. In fact, the next 3 ball games we play will be against teams that play a slower pace than we do, so it'll be a tempo-driven game as well. Brandon Fortenberry is a phenomenal player. I mean, he has been a thorn in our side ever since he was a freshman. He's a bigger guard that has created problems for us, so that'll be a real challenge for us. But you know, hopefully our kids will be up for it.
We're with Lady Demon co-head coach Brooke Storr as her team prepares to play at home this week against Nichols and Southeastern. Coach Storr, let's talk about where your team is now 5 games into the conference race, 5 games that before the conference race started you knew would be extremely challenging for your team.
I think so. I mean, we looked at it as, you know, obviously with this group we look at 1 game at a time and just trying to be better today than we were yesterday, but we knew playing, you know, 5 of the tougher teams in the league to start off with conference play was not going to be an easy task, with 3 of those being on the road. But, you know, pleased with how our team is competing. They continue to fight and continue to claw every single game. Obviously a big win for us against McNeese at home to start conference play, and then competed well and gave ourselves a chance to win against Lamar. I think the thing with this team is we've got to continue to cut down on our turnovers and not lose possessions offensively. We're shooting the basketball well. I believe right around 45%, 44 from 3. And if you had told me that, you know, back in August, I would have thought you were crazy. But they're learning the value of a good shot, and I think we're getting good shots within our offense. It's just a matter of finishing and knocking those down, and then going down and defending better on the defensive end.
All right, your team spent 3 games on the road last week, pretty much the entire week in a bus. Is that the kind of experience you can bring a team together a little bit, even though I know the results weren't what you wanted? Could that have been beneficial in any way? I
think so. I mean, we've been on the road a lot. We haven't had a lot of home games this season, whether it be in our pre-conference schedule and so far in conference play. This team has good chemistry. I think they like each other. They get along well. I think when you put 15 women on a bus at any point, they could all get tired of each other, but they're doing a great job with that, and we continue to try to do different things away from the court that kind of helps bring them together and develops that chemistry. Losing is never easy, but I think that we'll continue to grow from that and learn from that, and they'll get to the point where they continue to make changes in their daily habits, and they'll see those results.
And now you come back to play games at Prather Coliseum, where in your last 2 home games, your team won in dramatic fashion and nearly pulled off a great comeback against a Lamar team that's as good as any in the conference. So does playing 3 straight home games over the next 2 weeks give you a little more sense of security and energy?
Well, I think obviously every game's difficult for this team at this point, but we are certainly thankful to be at home, sleeping in our own beds, not on a bus. They're probably glad to not be traveling with my 2 small children and watching Disney movies, but I think that there's a comfort level at home. It's a gym and rims that they shoot on every day. They're in their own locker room. They're in, you know, their own beds, and I think that when you get that sense of just being comfortable with your surroundings, I think that definitely helps our team, especially with their growth and maturity level at this point.
Okay, let's talk about the matchups specifically with Nichols State on Thursday night.
Well, Nichols is a very good ball club. They go to McNeese, and I think they're up 22 with about 4 minutes to go and end up winning by 16, but they've got a really good inside-out combination with Allen and Babin. KK is a great little guard, playmaker, can really shoot the basketball and does a lot for them. is kind of their quarterback on the floor, really has a great command of the basketball and gets their team playing at the tempo and pace they want to play at. Allen works extremely hard in the paint, is a very good scorer, a very active rebounder. We're going to have to do a good job containing those two and obviously not letting their third and fourth scorers get hot.
And then the Southeastern Lions on Saturday afternoon in Prather.
Southeastern is an athletic, difficult matchup for us. They're going to run and press and look to get up and down and trap a whole lot. And, you know, it's interesting as you watch them on film, they score a lot out of their pressure. And when you make them play a tempo that they're not used to, I think that's been something that's bothered them. So it's always good to have a team like that at home when you face them for the first time. It'd be like us trying to play Coach Mike's men in their tempo. So they're going to be big and athletic. They're going to run and jump and really try to disrupt a lot of things we do offensively. So we've got to value the basketball and really kind of attack their pressure with our pressure.
Okay, you've been through now the doubleheader format 5 times, and I know on the road your team stayed and watched the men play. So what are your impressions of doubleheader basketball now?
I love it. I think it's great. It builds camaraderie, number one, between our staffs. We couldn't be more proud and happy to be down the hall from Coach Mike and his group. And obviously they've been very successful, and we'd be fools not to watch and learn from them every single day. But I think it's important for our players to see them being successful, to see the approach that they take every day, how hard their guys are playing, things like that. I think we can say that as coaches all we want, but when they get to see it live and see it on a daily basis, see how consistent they are with their energy and effort level, I think that, you know, that's the best teacher they can see, because it's their peers that are doing it.